Hello and welcome to today's training. As you can already see from the title, today we're going to talk about how to overcome procrastination easily by upgrading your identity. The training will include a revelation, why procrastination strikes when you aim higher, the old identity sabotage tactics, why identity must die to level up, the path to a higher identity, a review, and at the end, action items for you to follow in the next days and also weeks. So let's jump straight into it. Procrastination is a universal battle, and I was deep in the trenches for years. Take my bachelor thesis. I would harbor it in a frantic, caffeine-fueled spirit over 2 nights before the deadline, which is a true story. My heart raced, my desk was chaos, but somehow that pressure felt like the only way my brain could function. It was as if a gate swung open, letting ideas pour out, but only when the clock was ticking. I convinced myself I needed that last-minute panic to perform. Does it sound familiar to you? Studies show that 20 to 25% of adults are chronic procrastinators, with high-stakes tasks like academic deadlines or career moves being the biggest triggers. This isn't just my story, it's everywhere. Maybe you've pushed off a work presentation until the 11th hour or let a gym plan gather dust while binge-watching a new series feels effortless. I used to think I was wired for chaos, that procrastination was my creative process. Another example. My first attempt at public speaking. I had a killer idea for a local meetup talk, but I spent weeks tweaking slides instead of practicing, only to scramble the night before. The result? A shaky delivery I regretted. Procrastination wasn't helping me shine. It was holding me hostage. This struggle is more common than you'd think. From students to CEOs, we all dodge tasks that matter most. A 2018 study found that 80% of people procrastinate on tasks tied to personal growth, like learning new skills or pursuing goals, while mundane habits like scrolling social media face no resistance. I wrestled with this my whole life, telling myself that's just how I work. But everything changed when I stumbled across a single thought that flipped my entire perspective why we procrastinate and what it's really telling us. Here's the mind-blowing truth. We never procrastinate when we are coasting, taking the easy route, or leveling up. Think about it. When's the last time you hesitated to order takeout, rewatch a favorite show, or stick to your same old routine? Zero delay. But try to level up. Launch a side hustle, commit to a fitness plan, or pitch a bold idea at work. And suddenly procrastination slams you like a brick wall. It's not random, it's a pattern. When I realized this, it hit me like a lightning bolt. Procrastination isn't about laziness. It's a signal you're on the edge of something bigger. That urge to delay, to check one more email, to wait for the right moment. It's your current identity fighting to survive. Leveling up means stepping into a new version of yourself, someone bolder, more capable, more aligned with your dreams. But your subconscious clings to the familiar you, the one comfortable in the status quo. Procrastination is its defense, a flare that says, you're pushing past my limits. Recognizing this was my wake-up call. It's not about being weak, it's about being on the right track. Picture 2 college students, both assigned a high-profile project. One, Alex, sees it as a chance to shine. Yet they stall, endlessly researching instead of drafting. Meanwhile, they breeze through routine reports with no hesitation. The other, Jamie, feels the same pull to delay but recognizes it as a growth signal. They start small, outlining ideas and gain momentum. Same task, different outcomes. Why? Alex's identity is tied to safe performer, so their brain resists the spotlight. Jamie's starting to embrace rising star, so they lean in. Procrastination hits when the task demands a new you. This isn't just a hunch, it's rooted in how our brain works. Psychological research shows procrastination often stems from ego threat. When a task challenges your self-image, your brain flags it as risky, triggering avoidance. MRI scans reveal that procrastinators' brains light up in fear centers, like the amygdala, when facing growth-oriented tasks, unlike routine ones. It's why you organize your sock drawer before tackling a resume update. Your old identity feels safer there. Here's the game changer. Seeing procrastination as a sign of growth, not failure, reframes everything. It's not the enemy, it's a compass pointing to where your next breakthrough lies. But noticing it isn't enough to break free. You've got to understand why it happens and what's at stake. Your old self is fighting to stay alive, and it's stronger than you think. The chapters ahead will unpack how to face this resistance head-on and step into the upgraded identity waiting for you. Procrastination isn't a character flaw or a stack of discipline. It's your old identity fighting tooth and nail to survive when you dare to level up. The moment you set your sight on something bigger, a new career, a fitness transformation, a creative pursuit, your mind doesn't throw a party, it throws up walls. Why? Because growth demands a new version of you, and your current self-image, comfy in its familiar groove, sees that as a threat. Psychological research on ego threat shows that tasks pushing you beyond your self-concept trigger avoidance as your brain scrambles to protect its status quo. Your self-image is like a mental blueprint, built brick by brick from past experiences, habits, and beliefs, both the wins and the wounds. It's the you that's gotten you this far, safe in its predictable patterns. Maybe you see yourself as the reliable worker or the laid-back dreamer. That identity thrives on familiarity, not ambition. When you aim higher, like launching a business or speaking on stage, it feels like you're betraying that core self. The subconscious kicks into overdrive, whispering, "This isn't who we are." It's not trying to sabotage you, it's trying to survive. This resistance is powered by your subconscious servo mechanism, a concept from psychocybernetics that acts like an internal GPS. Its job? Keeping your actions aligned with your self-image. If your identity says, "I'm not a leader," but you're gunning for a promotion, it will steer you back to safety with delay or doubts. It's why you feel a sudden urge to reorganize your desk instead of drafting the proposal. Your brain's reticular activating system amplifies this by filtering out growth-oriented signals and spotlighting distractions that match your safe self. The resistance doesn't just show up as procrastination. It's a full arsenal of defense mechanisms. There's the obvious delay. "I'll start tomorrow." We all have said that and we all have heard that. The anxiety that creeps in, spinning, "What if I fail?" into a paralyzing loop. Erratic behavior follows. Maybe you snap at a colleague after a productive morning or impulsively binge a show instead of working on your goal. These aren't random. They're tactics to pull you back to the familiar. Studies show that procrastination often pairs with heightened stress responses, as the brain treats growth tasks like physical threats, flooding you with cortisol to freeze you in place. Here's an example. Take Mark, a mid-level analyst eyeing a leadership role. He's got the skills, but when tasked with presenting a bold strategy to the team, he stalls, researching endlessly, tweaking slides, not feeling ready. Meanwhile, routine reports done in a snap. His inner worker bee identity, built on years of playing it safe, clashes with the leader he wants to become. Contrast that with Lisa, who's also up for the role. She feels the same pull to delay but pushes through with small prep steps, recognizing the resistance as a sign she's stretching. Same opportunity, different inner scripts. I've been there too. When I was chosen for an important company presentation, I was buzzing with excitement until it was time to write and prepare. Suddenly, my kitchen needed scrubbing and every notification felt urgent. But scheduling a coffee chat with a friend? No hesitation. My old identity, comfortable as a member of the audience, not as a speaker, was digging in its heels, scared of what public voice might mean. It wasn't laziness, it was fear of becoming someone new. Here's the kicker. Resistance compounds into a vicious cycle. Each time you procrastinate, you reinforce the old identity's narrative. See, you're not cut out for this. Your subconscious logs it as evidence, making the next step harder. A 2020 study found that chronic procrastinators experience lower self-esteem over time, as avoidance fuels a feedback loop of self-doubt. It's not just about missing deadlines, it's about missing your potential because your old self is holding the reins. But there's a silver lining. Resistance means you're close to a breakthrough. Procrastination, anxiety, erratic moves, they're loud because your higher self is stirring, threatening the old guard. Think of it like a software update. The system lags and glitches when you try to install a new version because the old one's still running. Recognizing this flips the script. Instead of shame, you can see these symptoms as proof you're on the edge of leveling up, if you can push past the gatekeeper. Your subconscious isn't neutral. It's a fierce guardian of your existing self-image, wired to keep you in your comfort zone. When you aim to level up, like starting a new venture or chasing a big goal, it senses a threat to the you it knows. To protect that familiar identity, it deploys procrastination as a first line of defense, nudging you towards distractions that feel safe and familiar. This isn't random. It's a programmed response. Research on self-regulation shows that the brain prioritizes cognitive ease, favoring known patterns over the uncertainty of growth. Your subconscious is like a loyal gatekeeper, locking the door to change to keep you secure. Procrastination is just the opening move in a broader sabotage playbook. Your old identity doesn't stop at delay. It escalates with anxiety, overthinking, and erratic behavior to pull you back. Ever noticed how you spend hours tweaking a single email instead of tackling a bold project? Or how a productive morning suddenly derails into mindless scrolling or snapping at a colleague? These are calculated tactics, not accidents. They're your subconscious steering you away from the discomfort of becoming someone new, back to the cozy confines of who you've always been. The classic tactic, delay as denial. You know the task matters, updating your resume for that dream role, but the old you whispers, you mess it up anyway. So you buffer with busy work like endless research or organizing files. A study in psychological science found procrastinators' brains light up with short-term dopamine from distractions, but long-term regret circuits activate later, creating a hooked loop. It's subtle sabotage, keeping you busy without progress. Next up, anxiety, the overthinking overload. As you edge towards level up, like prepping for a networking event, your mind floods with worries. What if they see through me? What if I say something stupid? This isn't helpful caution. It's a storm of what-ifs designed to drown action in doubt. Generalized anxiety often spikes during identity transitions, as shown in research linking it to fear of self-discrepancy, your current self clashing with the aspiring one. The old identity uses this to make growth feel too risky, too overwhelming. Building on anxiety, nervousness hits physically. Jitters, racing heart, sweaty palms before that big pitch or workout session. It's your body signaling danger to the unknown self you're trying to become. This fight or flight light response, rooted in the amygdala's threat detection, tricks you into freezing or fleeing back to familiar ground. Evolutionary biology explains it. Our brains are wired to conserve energy from survival, not stretch you into uncharted territory. The old you amplifies these sensations to make stepping up feel unbearable. When nervousness escalates, full flight or flight kicks in. A sudden urge to argue or fight with a supportive friend who encourages your goal, or bold by cancelling plans altogether. Imagine gearing up for a job interview only to pick a needless fight with your partner or ghost the prep session. This primal response overrides logic as cortisol surges and your prefrontal cortex, which is the decision-making hub, goes offline. Studies on stress responses show it's common in high-stake personal change, where the ego perceives the new identity as a threat to survival. All these tactics feed into vicious loops via negative self-talk and confirmation bias. That inner critic sneers, "I'll fail anyway," justifying the delay or outburst. Confirmation bias then scans for proof. A past flop becomes gospel while small wins get dismissed. A 2019 study on cognitive biases found that people filter out 70% of positive feedback when it clashes with their self-image, amplifying the negative to stay consistent. Each loop tightens the grip, making escape feel impossible. This arsenal is backed by brain science. Cognitive dissonance theory explains the tension. When actions like pursuing a goal mismatch your self-image, like "I'm not bold," your mind resolves it by sabotaging to restore harmony. Self-efficacy research adds low confidence in change triggers these defenses, as the brain favors old patterns over risky reinvention. It's why your old identity fights dirty. It knows growth means its end. Here's an example. Picture Priya, a would-be entrepreneur with a killer app idea. She's buzzing with vision, but instead of pitching to investors, she's stuck tweaking perfect plans. Endless research, logo redesign, one more course to feel ready. Then anxiety hits. Nights lost to what if it flops. Spiraling, overthinking, nervousness derails a mock pitch, heart pounding, she bails on practice, her day job tasks done in a flash. Her safe employee identity builds on years of following orders, sabotages her bold moves, whispering, "You're not an entrepreneur yet." Contrast that with Sam, who feels the same tug but pushes through, drafting a pitch despite the fear. Priya's subconscious keeps her tethered. Sam is starting to let go. Here's the trap. Each tactic strengthens the old identity. Every delay, worry, spiral, or outburst logs as evidence you're not ready, tightening doubt's grip. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You avoid because you fear failure, and avoidance proves the fear right. Your brain's confirmation bias filters out wins, like the colleague who praised your idea, and zooms in on setbacks like a minor critique to keep the old narrative alive. But here's the flip side. These tactics are loud because you're close to a breakthrough. Procrastination, anxiety, nervousness, fight or flight. They're not signs you're failing. They're proof your old identity is rattled. It's fighting because the new you, the one that crushes that presentation or launches that side hustle, is stirring. Think of it like a software glitch during an update. The system lags because it's caught between versions. Spotting these tactics isn't defeat. It's the first step to dismantling the old guard, claiming the higher self waiting on the other side. Breakthroughs don't come from tweaking habits or piling on effort. They demand a total shift in who you are. Your old identity built from past habits, beliefs, and experiences is like an anchor holding you in place. To level up, whether it's landing a dream career, mastering a new skill, or building unshakable confidence, you must let go of that outdated self-image. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about releasing what no longer serves your ambitions to make space for a version of you aligned with your biggest goals. Growth isn't a smooth ride. It's a battleground where your old and new identities clash. The current self-image, comfortable in its familiar limits, resists the higher version you're reaching for. This inner tension, called cognitive dissonance in psychology, fuels procrastination and its cousins, anxiety, nervousness, and erratic behavior. When you aim for a bold goal, like leading a team or launching a venture, the old identity screams, "That's not us." It digs in, creating friction that makes every step feel like a fight against yourself. This conflict isn't random. It's a subconscious servo mechanism at work, a concept from psychocybernetics that acts like a thermostat regulating your behavior to match your self-image. If your identity is rooted in save and average, pursuing exceptional feels like a glitch. The subconscious responds with sabotage, delays, overthinking, or impulsive distractions to pull you back to the known. Neuroscience backs this. The brain's default mode network prioritizes consistency over change, reinforcing familiar patterns to conserve energy. To break through, you must consciously let the old identity die. This doesn't mean erasing your past. It means choosing a self-image aligned with your goals, not your history. Upgrading requires embodying the higher version of yourself now. The decisive leader, the disciplined creator, before the external results show up. This shift flips the script. Instead of waiting for proof to become someone new, you become the proof by deciding who you are. Research on self-efficacy shows that adopting a new self-concept boosts persistence and performance as action flow from belief, not external validation. This isn't about mastering more willpower or grinding harder. It's about redefining who you are, so actions feel natural, not forced. The old identity makes growth feel like pushing a boulder uphill because it's misaligned with your ambitions. A new identity, rooted in confidence, clarity, or resilience, turns that boulder into a pebble. The be-do-have paradigm explains it. Be the upgraded self first, and the doing, the actions, and having the results follow effortlessly. Studies on identity-based motivation confirm that aligning your self-image with your goals makes behaviors feel intrinsic, reducing resistance. Think of your identity like an outdated operating system running your life. It handles basic tasks fine, daily routines, familiar roles, but crashes when you try to install a bold new program. Like fearless innovator, The system throws errors, procrastination, anxiety, because it's not coded for that upgrade. Letting the old identity die is like formatting the drive, not to erase you, but to install a system that can run the life you want. It's a deliberate choice to prioritize your future over your past. Clinging to the old identity has a steep price. Every time you let it win, by delaying, doubting, or retreating, you reinforce its limits. You stay capped at good enough, while your potential waits on the other side. A 2020 study linked prolonged avoidance to lower life satisfaction, and unaddressed identity conflicts erode self-esteem over time. The longer you let the old self dominate, the harder it is to break free. Here's the flip side though. Letting the old identity die unlocks exponential growth. By choosing a self-image that matches your ambitions, you align your subconscious with your goals. The resistance, procrastination, jitters, erratic moves starts to fade as your new identity takes root. It's not about forcing change, it's about becoming the person for whom change is inevitable. This shift sets the stage for the practical steps ahead, where you learn how to build that new self and make leveling up feel like second nature. Overcoming procrastination isn't about hacking your schedule or forcing willpower. It's about embracing a new identity that assumes success is already yours. This is the be, do, have model. Be the confident, proactive version of yourself first, and the actions and results flow naturally. Your old identity, tethered to comfort and limitation, fuels procrastination to keep you stuck. To level up, you must step into a higher self-image, one that aligns with your ambitions, not your past. Research on identity-based motivation shows that when your self-concept matches your goals, actions feel effortless, not forced. The first step is recognizing procrastination for what it is. A signal of identity resistance, not a character flaw. That urge to delay, the anxiety, the sudden need to reorganize your desk, they're not signs you're lazy. They're your old self fighting to survive. Seeing this clearly flips the script. Instead of shame, you can view these moments as proof you're pushing towards growth. A 2021 study on self-awareness found that identifying avoidance patterns reduces their power, as metacognition disrupts automatic behavior. Awareness is your spark. It's the moment you stop being a victim of procrastination and start decoding its message. This shift isn't about small tweaks. It's about redefining who you are, your current identity. Say the cautious planner or eternal dreamer is wired to maintain the status quo. To break free, you choose a new self-image. The decisive leader, the relentless creator, the person who thrives under pressure. This isn't pretending. It's a deliberate decision to operate from your future self right now. Neuroscience supports this. Neuroplasticity allows your brain to rewire through consistent new inputs, making the updated identity feel like home over time. Choosing a higher identity requires a bold leap. You commit to embodying the upgraded you, confident, proactive, unstoppable, before external approval arrives. This isn't waiting for a promotion to act like a leader or a book deal to feel like a writer. It's deciding I am that person right now and letting your actions align. The psycho-cybernetic servo mechanism kicks in here, steering your behaviors to match your new self-image, like a GPS recalibrating to a new destination. Commitment means showing up as that new version of you, even when doubt screams not yet. Think of your identity as an old coat, familiar, warm, but too small for where you're headed. Procrastination is the tug you feel when you try to shrug it off. Stepping into a higher identity is like slipping into a tailored suit that fits your ambitions. It feels strange at first, but soon it's you. This shift rewires your subconscious, turning resistance into momentum. Studies on self-efficacy show that believing in your capacity to succeed, even without evidence, drives bolder actions and faster results. Consider someone eyeing a career pivot into public speaking. Their old identity, I'm not charismatic enough, sparks procrastination. They skip practice, overthink scripts, avoid gigs. But by committing to I am a compelling speaker right now, they start practicing daily, sharing ideas online and seeking small stages. The actions feel natural because they're rooted in a new self-image, not forced by external pressure. Over time, opportunities like invites to speak follow, proving that this shift works. This commitment creates a feedback loop. Each time you act from the new identity, your reticular activating system starts spotting opportunities that match, new connections, ideas, or wins you'd have missed before. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Your brain begins filtering for evidence of your new self, weakening the old identity's grip. A 2020 study on behavioral change found that identity-aligned actions build momentum faster than willpower-driven ones, as they feel intrinsic and not exhausting. The catch? Embodying a new identity feels like a stretch at first. The old self will push back, whispering, "You're faking it." That's normal. Cognitive dissonance kicks in when your actions outpace your beliefs. But persistence rewires the brain. Start small. Act as if you're the upgraded you in one moment today. Send that bold email. Speak up in a meeting. These micro shifts stack over time, proving to your subconscious that the new identity is real. Rewiring your identity takes deliberate tools. Affirmations to anchor belief, visualization to embody the future, micro actions to build proof. Those steps are coming in another video, where we'll dive into how to build your higher self. For now, focus on this. Believe in the new you today. Decide you are already the person who crushes it, and let that choice guide your next move. Procrastination isn't your enemy. It's a sign you're ready to let the old you go and step into the version who makes things happen. So in today's training, we talked about the revelation that procrastination only comes when we're striving for bigger things. Then we talked about why procrastination strikes when you aim higher, the old identity sabotage tactics, why identity must die to level up, the path to a higher identity. This is our little review, and now we're gonna go into action steps for you to follow in the next days and weeks. Journal your procrastination triggers. For 1 week, spend 5 to 10 minutes daily noting moments when procrastination, anxiety, or erratic behavior hits, especially during growth-oriented tasks, like starting a project or pursuing a goal. Write down what you were avoiding and how it felt. This builds awareness of your old identity sabotage tactics, as metacognition reduces their grip per self-awareness research. Declare your higher identity. Choose one bold present tense statement for your desired self, like "I am a confident leader" or "I am a disciplined creator." Repeat it aloud each morning with conviction for 21 days, pairing it with a strong emotion like excitement. This plants the seed for a new self-image, leveraging repetition and emotional encoding to rewire your subconscious, as supported by neuroplasticity studies. Act as if, once daily. Pick one small action each day that aligns with your new identity, like sending a bold email or tackling a task with confidence. Log the outcome. This builds micro-evidence for your upgraded self, using confirmation bias to reinforce belief, as behavior activation research shows it boosts self-efficacy. Reframe resistance as growth. When procrastination or anxiety strikes, pause and reframe it. This is my old identity resisting. Proof that I'm leveling up. Write down one reason the new identity is possible, like any small win. This disrupts the negative loop. As cognitive dissonance studies suggest, reframing reduces avoidance by aligning actions with goals. Identify one element in your surroundings that reinforces your old identity and replaces with a cue for your new self. Seek one weekly interaction with someone who embodies your desired vibe. Environmental psychology shows that contextual cues shape subconscious beliefs, accelerating identity shifts. If you found today's training helpful, then please give the video a like and follow us for more insightful trainings.